Welcome to Spare Change Radio.
Okay, listen.
I'm Josh. This is Alan. That's Pete and Sarah.
If you see this button around town or around the country or around the world, $1.70 sign, that's it for Spare Change.
Welcome to Spare Change Radio. This is episode 1. I'm Josh, along with my good friend.
I'm Alan.
And we are here as part of a new part of Spare Change that we're rolling out. It's, yes, a podcast, and we get it. We don't need another podcast, we know. But we feel like there's a good reason for this one to exist. We're doing a lot right now with a lot of different artists and a lot of different nonprofits, and we want people to be aware of it, have an idea of where we're headed next. But also, it's just a chance for us to connect to each other, to talk about what's going on, to hear from all of you, and really make this into a real community where we all can grow it together.
Yeah, because Josh and I don't spend enough time together.
Sure don't.
Yeah.
So let's just go and say, in addition to Alan and myself, we also have Pete and Sarah here. Say hi.
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 And they are producing this podcast, and we appreciate them very much. You all know Pete from back in the day with Spare Change. He was out in the street with me, busking, making money, giving it away. And then we met this guy on episode 2. You just walked into this.
Yeah, I was drunk on the side of the road, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
I remember this kid coming up with his friends. We were just playing in Shady Side. He had a box of wine.
Yep. Good old Franzia.
Which is illegal, by the way.
It's fine. When the cops shut us down at 11 p.m., it was for a noise ordinance, not for drinking in the street.
Yeah.
But Josh threw out his cup of wine so fast.
I didn't have one.
Yeah, you did.
No.
Yeah, he had one.
No, I didn't. I wouldn't do that.
It's okay. Bill Peduto will pardon you.
I hope so. Okay, so here we are now. What's your goals for this podcast? What do you hope to get out of it, Alan?
I'm hoping to let listeners and our friends and family who would also fall under that umbrella of listeners to get an inside look of what's going on with Spare Change. And a lot of it's just kind of like you see stuff on our social media. You may not know the artist. You may not know the nonprofit. And there's only so much information you can put out on Instagram or on Facebook that I keep getting notifications for that our 1,500 fans have not heard from us in a while.
That's right.
And
sorry, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. We're not paying for Facebook ads. I don't care.
And
no more. It's not a good use of our assets.
So this is a good medium to, bring on those nonprofits or bring on those band members or just tell people about them and different ways you can help them or support them or upcoming shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, my goal is the same as your goals, except for I also have the goal of keeping you out of trouble.
That's probably going to be the first goal that we break.
Everyone knows Alan has no filter. We're actually very different, although we're business partners in Spare Change. I'm kind of like pie in the sky idea guy, and Alan's really good at the operations side of things. Planning, logistics, working with band managers and the bands to make sure everyone's at the right place at the right time. But that's not where the differences stop. I think we've got a lot that's not in common.
Yeah, like Josh is drinking water.
Cheers.
And I'm drinking beer.
Well, it is a Monday.
Well, that's the reason to drink.
I'm just saying. So there's that. We're different generations.
No, we're in the same generation. You're a millennial.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah, we're both on like the tail end of the millennial spectrum.
Okay, I get. All right, I'm a silverback millennial, as they say. Old enough to know what it was like without a computer, but young enough to know how to work one. And you are?
I'm right there between Gen Z and it's like literally right on the cutoff. It's like, what's that stereotypical thing that you see on some government forms? It's like if you were born after 1981, it's like, 1, why are you still putting this on every form? And 2, I was born after 1981.
What year were you born?
1995.
Okay, all right.
Almost forgot.
So we have about a decade apart.
Yeah. It's about a generation.
We don't have much in common.
No.
I really love music. I'm all about it. I've lived it.
I like it.
I've played it. I understand it.
I do not understand it. I have no idea how it works. Sometimes I sing in the shower.
So for the bands that interact with us, when the ones that are like, hey, it's tough, like tour life and things like that, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And Alan's like, what?
It must be so tough.
Alan landscapes.
Yeah, I am a landscaper, yeah.
Tour life is tough, man. You try to go...
so is landscaping.
That's fair. I landscaped one time, too. I get it. But
Josh has done it all.
we want to see where else we're different and alike. So, Pete, can you help us out here?
Yeah, you ask a question and we'll answer.
Let's see here.
Oh, he had questions ready.
Yeah.
What is your most used emoji?
Probably the kissy face.
Okay, mine's definitely not that. So for
Like the one that's blowing a heart.
So for personal, it's probably like the inquisitive one, like that one. I like that a lot. For spare change, I'm trying to use the $ for spare, and then like for change, the rock on sign, so you can tell like it's like bands and music, and I'm trying to use those too. That way, instead of posting a lot of comments, I'm just like leave that emoji 500 times.
I'm not judging him at all right now.
That's just my way of letting you know. That's like the brand emoji. Okay, so different. Your kissy face. I don't even want to start with what that means.
I sent a lot of texts to my girlfriend.
Okay. All right.
With the kissy face emoji.
If you were a wrestler, what would your entrance theme be?
Ooh.
Piano Man.
Piano Man?
Yep. I don't even care. It doesn't fit, but the whole crowd would be singing it. You know they know it.
All right.
Like,
paint the stage here. There's an arena.
Yeah.
People are literally fighting each other, and all of a sudden it's like.
That is not how. Okay, yeah,
that is exactly how Piano Man starts.
The very beginning of that did not sound like it, but that's any song.
Put on karaoke version of Piano Man so we don't get pulled offline.
I think we'll still get
Alan said that with no hesitation, too.
Yeah, for sure. He was like, "Oh, Piano Man, of course." So, all right, while you're pulling that up, I'll think about mine. All right, mine would be.
He wasn't ready.
Something like. I feel like Hulk Hogan kind of nailed it with like I am a real. That's pretty perfect. Geez, it's hard to commit to one song. I would say that I want something high energy, something to let you know that I mean business. So it's like
Uptown Girl.
Oh, that'd be pretty sick. What's up with you and all Billy Joel songs?
This is all that I know. So
I'm not gonna pick Uptown Girl. Like all of a sudden,
we didn't start the fire.
People are fighting, and all of a sudden it's like,
yeah, I could see it.
Oh no, here comes Josh. Uptown Girl. No, I gotta think about that one. Ask us another question.
Would you rather be able to run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 10 miles per hour?
Dude, any speed, fly all day.
Well,
I know what it's like to run.
If you're running at 100 miles per hour, you could essentially run over water at that point, right? If you're really into physics and you're listening to this podcast, DM us on Instagram at Spare Change TV and let me know that if you run at 100 miles per hour, if you can or cannot run over water. Because if you can, I'm going to choose running. And if not, I'm going to choose flying.
All right. Maybe I missed the chapter in the physics book or whatever it is, but you're telling me that if I drive or if I run fast enough, I could...
Because this is probably so wrong, but I feel like if you're hitting the water fast enough, you don't have time to go through it. You're just kind of propelling yourself off of it.
Let's say that's right, okay? I'm not sure. Let's say it's right. Why do you want to choose the walking on water part over flying?
Because if you're only flying at 10 miles per hour, it's going to take you forever to get somewhere. But if you can just run across the Atlantic Ocean at 100 miles per hour, like, assuming you don't get tired.
There's nothing said about that.
Yeah, so...
Okay, we see difference.
Yeah.
Difference is this man wants to run across water if it's possible. I guess we're talking about flying versus not. So yeah, sure, man, it's possible. Go for it. I'd fly. Even just to like chill out and just swoop down 10 miles an hour.
10 miles an hour?
Who cares? Where am I going to go?
Greensburg.
I'd fly over Greensburg.
Fly
Beautiful.
over to the fire pit.
I'd fly in every show. I'd fly down and be like,
What if you had to use your arms to fly, though?
ooh.
He'd be jacked.
Yeah, not as jacked as you with your legs from running 100 miles an hour over the water.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I can't even imagine what that would look like.
The point here, friends, is that we're very, very different in almost every single way. But we work well together.
We work very well together.
Yeah, we hustle. That's for sure. And you're going to realize that over the course of this podcast, is there are a lot of differences. And even though Alan says something and we work together, it doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it. Actually, in fact, it probably means I don't.
Not even going to argue with that.
So let's talk about what's new with Spare Change. So it's been about a year since we won the Chip Starter Award. Luckily, fortunately, from Chip and Joanna Gaines, they gave us $25,000 to buy new equipment to help us grow this thing further. And our intention back then was to continue what we were doing and continue releasing these videos. And we did like a one-off campaign, one artist, one nonprofit, one video, one chance to raise a bunch of money at the shows by passing the bucket and online by people donating through the Spot Fund page. And that's been going really well. And we started that process out just like we had been doing once we had the equipment. We started to recruit bands and start that. We did film with Dea at Stage AE, and that was fantastic. We got Sheila E. on board. You saw maybe one of her videos come out so far of her busking on the street, and that was great. And along the way, we started working with this group called the Knox Boys out of Blawnox, just across town, but great band. And what happened was we filmed with them at their CD release party, album release party, and they made about $104, I don't know, something like that. $118, and it was great. You know, we'll again remember, this is just pocket change adding up for a good cause. So,
and that place was not packed.
Yeah.
Not saying their music isn't good, but it was.
People need to know.
Yeah, the amount of people that were there versus how much we raised was very good.
Yeah, we were happy with it. And again, the education partnership, the nonprofit was happy with it. But what happened was they had a couple shows this summer, and they kept fundraising with the bucket even when we weren't there. And one night, it was Picklesburg, they got another $150, and it was amazing. And, we realized pretty quickly that we are not an integral part of that process. It's really about the band connecting with their fans and having the bucket available for a cause they love. And once we started realizing that, then it sort of shifted our mindset, which is that, you know, instead of doing one event one time, why not support these bands long term and these partnerships that they want to support? So our role is changing right now, something that we're calling the Musician Impact Network. And what we're doing is helping these bands partner with a nonprofit, supporting and promoting those partnerships through our videos and continuing it. So a band like Knox Boys, like we said before, that raised $100, now has gone on to raise over $700 for the education partnership in a matter of like 3 months.
I think they just hit 750 2 days ago.
Oh, that's amazing. And Zach Kime's on tour right now, opening up for Peter Case, and he's taking the bucket with him. So wherever he's at, you can throw money in the bucket, and that's our way of continuing this process and tracking and seeing it add up. So it really kind of changed our mindset, and that's why we started calling this Musician Impact Network and not just a video series. And in that regard, we don't stop. So now we have 10 artists in total, I believe, that are all picking up the charge and supporting a charity of their choice. And we're supporting 10 nonprofits right now and really piloting out this idea of ongoing support and how we can help these bands raise more money, and also how we can promote these partnerships and help drive more attention to the nonprofits, attention and dollars. So it's been pretty exciting with this shift in trying to evolve what this concept is.
Right. Yeah, Josh, you're seeing the shift from old Spare Change to new Spare Change,
right?
Which is a very big shift, because before, like Josh said, we were doing those one-off video campaigns. Dea was in town for a concert, and it was already a benefit concert. We just brought another dynamic of fundraising to it by bringing Spare Change into it for the Jewish Federation for Victims of Terror Fund. So, old model, we go do a one-time thing with Dea, pass the bucket around. She made like a couple $100. It was great, but that was the end of it. So now we have a more consistent thing with artists that they can fundraise as much or as little as they would like. And the longer impact really adds up.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get as much in a show as you will over the course of a few months if you're active and motivated to fundraise.
Yeah. So right now we have a number of artists, all different genres, different situations in their career. And the real goal here is just to find ways that we can support them. So just calling out a couple that we can talk through that you might be seeing on our social feed. One that comes to mind is, like we said, Knox Boys, and definitely check out Zach. From there, we got a message from this, I want to say kid, but he's not a kid. Brett. This gentleman, Brett Trottier, he's a singer-songwriter. He was in Michigan at the time and was like, hey, I want to support Sierra Club. Can I do this?
Sierra Club.
And that's what I said.
It sounded like you said Sarah, sorry.
Thanks for correcting that. No, Sierra Club is what Pete's a member of. And Sierra Club is what Brett supports. Sorry, I'll speak more clearly. So we had just started this idea of new version of Spare Change, and we only had one bucket because that's all we used to use. And Brett was so motivated that we tried to find a way to support him. So we sent him this paint can bucket
just
we
like
had.
the one on the table here for those of you watching the video of this podcast.
That's right. So we sent it to him in Michigan. I threw $1 in it. I was like, hey, here's your first donation. And we really didn't know what would come from it. I mean, for all we knew, this guy could just take the bucket and be done. But he has really put his
he's on it.
Yeah, he's been hustling.
He's near $400, I think, raised since July.
That's amazing.
Which is when we started the new model.
And some of those times have been him just busking on the street.
Or an AARP meeting. He was at an AARP meeting and raised like $120,
which is so funny because imagine the audience at an AARP meeting.
Not for climate change.
Not for climate change. They're probably like, what? What does that matter to me for? Meanwhile, this guy's going around the bucket and picking up another $50 for the cause.
You got to go after those old people.
Yeah,
they got the money.
Care. The grandchildren are going to inherit this place, right? So it's been awesome to watch Brett because he's really been spearheading this himself. And you'll see on our Instagram feed just like post after post from Brett of just like $50. Recently, he got over $100 in one night.
I think it was. Yeah.
So it's been cool to watch him, and we're due to go film with him. We haven't filmed with him yet, but we got to find the right spot to do it.
But he is playing a show tomorrow night, which none of you will be able to make it to by the time you hear this.
Good to know.
But he is playing tomorrow night.
But you can go on our Instagram feed and see if he raised any money.
See how well he did.
Yeah, we can check it out.
Or if he didn't at all, which at this point we're kind of calling him out.
He will. I feel good. I mean, you're going to be there, right?
Brett always has this bucket.
So you can throw $1 in.
Yeah.
The other people we've been working with, it's pretty cool. Johnny Good, who is from Pittsburgh, plays bass with Lady Gaga, and he's played with The Weeknd, he's played with Wiz Khalifa, and he's just been trying to relaunch his solo career. He started recording a lot of these tracks. He calls it bass hop. It's like this combination between rap and hip hop. He's like rapping but playing bass. It's pretty incredible to do that.
And he's really good.
Yeah. So he came into town for a couple weeks this summer, launched his own beer with Full Pint, I believe, and called Bass Hop. It's great beer, by the way. And while he was here, we just decided to partner together. He wanted to help Best of the Batch Foundation. Awesome cause we worked with in the past when we did our Christmas episode 11. So it's great. This new model is awesome for us because we have a chance to go back to these nonprofits we helped in the past to some degree. And when the right artist comes along, think about them and partner them up and give them a real big benefit now, which is not just the money, but the long-term exposure too, and the dollars that add up, of course, as well.
Because this is a completely closed off section of fundraising for them that's now being opened. Because no nonprofit's going to a concert and raising funds.
Unless it's like a charity concert.
Yeah, unless it's a charity concert, which, I mean, I believe those are few and far between. I don't know anything about music, once again, but...
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that. Like, when I was in full-time, I played after college for about 3 years, and at the peak of it, just for context, it was like 8 shows a week. I mean, we were playing up and down the East Coast all the time, and when we weren't on tour in the summertime, we'd go back and State College and play there. And there were a lot of times where people would ask us to play charity events, and it was something we did really a lot early on because we didn't have any shows, we had nothing to do, we wanted to get our name out there. Of course, it was a great opportunity to do that. But as we got more and more into this is our career now at the time, it's harder to stop the machine and get to an event. And we were able to do it a couple of times with Thon at Penn State. We played up there at Bryce Jordan Center, and that was amazing. But this is like a chance for artists to do it over time and also track an impact. Because I can tell you we probably played maybe 10 nonprofit shows along the way outside of the 4 or 5 times we did Thon. And I have no idea what that turned into. I can't materialize the impact that we made other than I know that we did it. So it's great to be able to put the bands in control and say, like, what cause are you into? And oftentimes they'll come to us and say, here's the things that we're interested in, and we'll help them find a charity. And then using that as a way to build this new component of their live show, which is like, hey, here's something I care about, and here's a chance if you want to contribute to it, you can throw a quarter in the spare change bucket and it will add up.
Well, the nice thing also is that it's a very low impact way of getting bands on board to help something that they're passionate about. I don't know about your Facebook feed, but mine is always
Political?
filled with either political memes or filled with articles about how volunteerism's dying. And you can argue that a lot of that's because people just don't have time anymore.
Yeah.
And being able to enable these bands to go out and still make their living at a show, and instead of having a tip jar, put out a spare change bucket, which every time they say they raise more in donations than they would in tips, they don't give up time away from their job and lose money to make an impact, which I think is really powerful. Because one, there's no excuse not to do it, and two, you can do it without needing to choose between making a living or doing a good thing.
And I mean, I think the thing to call it is like we're still figuring it out, very much so. Like we're calling this first version of it like a pilot. We're planning on between now and the start of summer touring of next year, getting a lot of the kinks worked out so we can up the number of bands that we work with at that point from 10 to, we haven't really decided yet.
Yeah, probably just however much we can handle. Josh and I both work full-time jobs. So this is I wouldn't call it a side project because it's much farther along than I would consider a side project being.
I'll take that.
But we definitely put in, I would argue, part-time hours for this, combined at least. I mean, Josh definitely does 90% of those hours. But
You do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot, but comparatively, I don't.
That's true.
I always give credit where credit is due.
It's true, too.
So, yeah, we definitely put time into it, and it's nice that we're able to do it. For sure, but you got to remember we both work full-time jobs, so this could definitely be a lot further along than it is.
Yeah, I think we'll get there. It's the goal right now, and I mean, right now what I'm really focused on is getting to $10,000 on Spot Fund. So we only started using Spot Fund on our 11th episode, and it was really at the encouragement of the Best of the Batch Foundation, who felt like our videos needed a better call to action. And back then there was really none other than just to share the video, which helped us out, but didn't really help the nonprofit out directly. And we were worried at first that would people even get their wallet out and donate online. That's when we found Spot Fund, and we use them because they have $1 as their lowest amount. So it's kind of like that spare change idea, or you see someone busking on the street, you throw $1 in their guitar case. We wanted to carry that out. But, because we started fundraising at the 11th episode, we don't have any of the first 10 things we did for charity tracked there. So the number right now on there is $7,800 through this new mechanism. And a lot of that has been recently with these new bands that have come on board and are taking up the cause every night. So I really feel like that'll be a strong moment for us when we hit $10,000 via Spot Fund. Like I said, we're at $7,800 right now. I just threw another $50 in for my show this past weekend.
Hey, how did that go? I meant to ask you about that.
It was pretty cool, man. Actually, it was this Halloween house party, and they went all out. I mean, they had skeletons in the front yard. It was like a graveyard. There was things crawling outside of the house, lights, the 9 yards. The John who hired me built an entire facade outside of his house with skeleton gates that you had to open up. I mean, no stone was left unturned. They had all the pictures inside their dining room of the family replaced with those images you see at the Haunted Mansion with Disney World. So as you walk by, their faces just turn to goblins and ghosts and stuff.
Good ride.
It was, good ride, by the way, for sure. And I played outside on this back patio area. The entire yard was covered in tents. Strangely enough, a lot of the people in the audience were police officers. So there was a state trooper dressed like Frankenstein. And I was I don't know how to play this.
They say white people have no culture.
That's right. What? Why'd I say that's right? I guess it is right. But I didn't want to push the bucket too much because it was a private party. I didn't know what the right amount was. So I just had it with me, and people ended up throwing money into it instinctively. I got $50 without even really pushing it very hard. I mean, that's the goal one day, is that the bucket becomes this thing that people just know is a signal for this is a charity that this band supports. So if I want to throw money in, I can just do it. It just gives you the opportunity. So, yeah, it was a good time. What'd you do this
I'm
weekend?
coming to your next party. What did I do this weekend?
Yeah.
I went and saw the Exits at Howlers in Lawrenceville, and they played with the Vicks. Both are punk rock bands.
Nice.
The Exits from New York City, and the Vicks are local to Pittsburgh. And there's another guy who opened for both of them called Reliable Child. He wasn't bad either.
Oh, I know him. He's good.
Single man act, whatever the term is.
We met him at Pints on Penn.
Yeah,
the reliable child.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
some pretty decent music.
Pints on Pen?
Yeah. He used to show up for that
Open
open
mic.
mic night that I
Is that where
ran
we met
sound
him?
for. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Now I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about Piper's Pub.
Oh.
I don't even know where that is.
Is that what the place is called?
I don't think we
In the
should talk
South
about
Side?
Piper's Pub.
Piper's Pub.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, Southside. Okay, I know where
Watch
that is.
episode 1 if you want to know about Piper's Pub.
Yeah. We got a long history with Piper's Pub. We might as well say what it is now for people who don't know. So when Pete and I first played for Spare Change, we set up at Piper's Pub, our first performance ever busking. And that time we didn't know we were giving it away. And we started just making money. And they came outside. They're like, hey, can you guys leave? We're like, yeah, sure. So we went across the street, which is like, you actually can see us playing at Piper's Pub in the beginning of the video. We're right outside.
And then all of a sudden it changes.
Then it changes because they asked us to go away. And at the end of this 1 minute video, Pete's like, yeah, they told us to leave Piper's Pub. So however big Spare Change gets, we'll always have this kindred spirit with Piper's Pub. And it's just funny thinking about they had no idea these guys were going to go on and like start a whole movement. Now there's actually
That's their loss.
more motivation. So yeah, shout out Piper's Pub. Love you guys.
You guys messed up.
We would come back and do a busking session on their outside area sometime.
I
That would
hope
be
they
cool.
stick to their guns and tell you to go away again. I hope this is national and you set up to busk and the guy walks out and he's like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
We don't care. Go away. All right. I'll be like, take my bucket with me. Like,
Just walk right back across the street.
and I'll just be like, we need to get bigger.
Yeah.
One day they'll accept us. Yeah, Piper's Pub. Okay, so you do see the Pints on Pen. You used to do that. Yeah, I know. What's his name? I can't think of his name.
I don't know his real name.
Yeah.
He has so many like pseudonyms. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's a good
People
guy.
on their toes.
Yeah, he's had like a bunch of different like Instagram handles and stuff. So
Yeah.
I can't ever remember his name.
I like Reliable Child, though, because it sounds kind of like The Obvious Child, which is one of my favorite Paul Simon songs, A. And then B, he was actually in another Spare Change episode. He's in episode 15 with Byron Nash, had a little cameo, threw some money in the bucket. So shout out to Reliable Child. We'd like the new name. Remind me what your name is so I can address you as such. And look for him soon, too, out in Pittsburgh. So the exits were good.
Yeah, the exits were very good. I like the exits.
Alan's
the Vics
trying-
are good too.
Alan's trying to get the exits to take a Spare Change bucket.
The exits are on board, but they're very slow to act.
Okay. So what's next?
What's next? I need to get their freaking bio from them for their Spot Fund page.
Okay.
But it's very easy to onboard with Spare Change if you're an interested artist.
How do we do it?
You email Alan, ALLAN, at sparechange.tv, or reach out to any of our social media, which is at SpareChangeTV, except for Twitter, which is just at SpareChange. And then you let us know, hey, we want to onboard. We either you have a charity in mind or you don't have a charity in mind. If you don't, we can help you choose one. And then you just have to be on board to play at least 12 shows. Try to get the charity to sponsor your bucket costs so that no one's, losing out. And then you go out and you busk. We set up an online Spot Fund profile for you to donate the money that you raise to for full transparency. And I write a little bio about who you are, why you chose the charity, and what the charity does. It's like 2 paragraphs. It's nothing insane.
I come out to your shows and I film it and take photographs, which,
Yeah, if you're in Pittsburgh.
yeah, and if you're not, it's whenever you tour here
Yeah.
or whenever we can get to you. And yeah, we're trying to make the process easier. We're hopefully soon the website will have like a drop down thing. That's a goal for ours. But again, you're going to be with this podcast, Spare Change Radio, getting a good idea of where we're at and what's going on behind the scenes. We're trying to be more transparent because number one, I don't care if you go on our website right now, it's not done. All right, it's not done. I'm working on it.
We both have full-time jobs again.
But isn't that also exciting to go back every now and then and be like, oh, they updated these things. So I feel like it's better for us just to be like, hey, here's where we're at. And if people out there are interested in, learning more or helping out, or it's a work in progress.
If you're motivated and willing to work through the kinks with us,
Yeah.
we are more than willing to work with you.
Which all these bands are right now. All
Yeah.
the bands we're working with understand like this is a new process. There's 2 of them that are doing this, but I'd say that the output's been pretty good considering that.
Output's been great in the past, we've been doing the new model for 4 months, and the past 4 months it just keeps getting busier and busier,
Yeah.
and the money just keeps showing up, and the numbers keep going up on our Instagram.
Dude, I have a box in my basement with 10 buckets in it. We ordered bulk for the first time,
Yeah.
which feels really great. For me, my wife's like, what's the box? I'm just like, more buckets. Isn't this great?
Eventually, one room in his house is just going to be all buckets.
Yeah, there's 20 buckets now. That's so crazy to think about. So what we do for the buckets, let's talk about the buckets. I hope this is on the camera. Oh, I can go with camera too. So this is the old look for the buckets. Spare Change logo here. What goes at the top, here, I'll show you mine. The nonprofit name.
All right, and for those of you listening to the audio version of this podcast, I'm going to do my best to explain this for you. The Spare Change logo is a giant S that looks like a $sign with the C for like the cent sign in the middle of that to make an SC for Spare Change.
You got it.
And then on top of the bucket, centered on that, along the lip,
Yeah.
you have a
nonprofit.
12-inch sticker that says the name of the nonprofit
That's right.
in font.
Don't tell them the name of the font.
Oh.
Bleep that out. That's our font. Anyway, so what's happening is there's also another part of this that says Spare Change Musician Impact Network. So we're updating that whole entire front part. So the idea is like we send you a bucket, you get your different stickers for your nonprofit, the front of the bucket, and then the back will be a QR code right here to go to your donation page for people just to scan with their phones. That's the ideal scenario. We've got about 2 of the 10 right now with the full-on bucket set up. The others have different variations of it. Brett Trottier has a bunch of these stickers that he just did himself. So we're trying to uniformity is a goal for us. But it took a long time to land on like what the bucket even looked like. I mean, in the beginning, when we had a bucket back in the day, Pete, we used to just draw with marker on it. And
It was a white bucket that you get from like Home Depot.
I loved it because
you would.
You took the time out to like actually like draw stuff for the bucket. It wasn't just like a sticker that you like slapped on there.
I like redid logos and things like that.
And people would sign it whenever they donated. That was cool.
Yeah, which is a cool thing we could bring back too. Like for
Artists,
the band,
get a silver Sharpie.
Silver Sharpie.
Or whiteout.
Silver Sharpie.
It's a whiteout paintbrush.
Yeah, because people, number one, if they can sign it, they throw money in.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly.
Oh, the people love that.
People like the signing thing. Maybe we should bring that back.
Yeah.
Although, with the way things are going, with the way things are going at the fire pit, my bucket's going to be silver pretty quick. I'm just saying. I'm putting in the dollars.
What happens
Put in the
whenever it
cents.
gets fully silver? Do you
I switch to a black Sharpie.
Yeah, oh, yeah, and then you
work
start
back.
covering it up. I like that idea.
Just back and forth.
I was going to say you're just going to paint it.
Maybe we retire the bucket when you fill it up. Like we hang it from the rafters of the office we don't have.
Yeah.
Where is the old bucket? The original bucket?
Good question.
It's not my house. I don't have it. It's
gone.
I thought maybe you had it. Although I will say the bucket from last season is with Melinda.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
beat up. I beat the hell out of it with a mic stand. Whenever
my
people were throwing
gosh.
so much money into this bucket at one time, I just
Set
started.
the stage. Set new podcast rule, Alan. Set the stage.
Okay, set the stage, Josh.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You do the setting, and I'll do the story.
All right, let's try it. We're going to learn how to do podcasts right now. The time is last year. It's around the 4th of July, and we're in Rochester, New York, filming with Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad, a fantastic band who's also taking on this new model for a nonprofit called Races. But back then, they were fundraising for this awesome nonprofit in town called Wall Therapy that paints murals in Rochester. And the big part about this was that they had a massive concert in Rochester Park. And that night, it was packed full of people. And it was really the first time we had ever took the bucket through the crowd. Am I right?
Yeah, this is
We
true.
never did this before.
It was insane.
Because we never had a band say, yeah, we'll just pass the bucket. And I'm telling you, this venue was not like, you couldn't just hand it out there. It was like moving through the crowd. So go ahead, what happened?
So we're moving through the crowd, and it was like immediately I just started getting swarmed. And people, are you good?
He's saying use the mic, man.
Oh,
Pete, you
my
can say
bad.
that. You can cut him off anytime and be like, hey, Alan.
You need to coach me.
So we're moving through the crowd.
Okay, so I'm moving through the crowd.
When your voice gets quieter, get closer to the microphone.
See, I'm yelling so loud that I can hear myself as if I'm hearing myself through the headsets.
That's why I said drop his voice down lower.
But we're moving through the crowd, and people are swarming me. And they're just throwing all this money, and I don't even know how much. But I was getting real amped up, and I was carrying a tripod or
Pumped
a mic
up.
stand.
I'm behind him
Like-
filming with the camera.
I just started banging this thing, like
With
just
the
to
tripod.
make noise. Yeah, with the tripod. And then at the end, we
He's
just
going-
look. We just look
I
at
just
it
did
at
it
the
this
end.
one.
It just looked horrible. I
cool, I
beat
got 10
the
more.
hell out of it. And we refer to that as like the beat up bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that moment because you and I are both like, what the hell is happening right now? This is amazing. Because we just had never experienced like that level of,
Yeah, everyone was so into it. We were so into it.
oh, that was so
And
cool.
we raised like $300 some in
Which honestly
like 10 minutes.
wasn't that much for
Yeah,
that crowd.
comparatively.
Now that I know more, that crowd probably could have thrown down $500.
Well, Sheila E. threw down 700 some.
Sheila E. got $700 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, that was also a fundraising event for a nonprofit, as people kind of knew what the deal was. However, yeah, but still, at the time, we're like, wow, that was $300 in literally maybe 15 minutes that we handed to the charity the next day, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, in person.
So we've been evolving this passing of the bucket, and it happens differently at different places. Like we just filmed again with Giant Panda at the Thunderbird Cafe, and they just kept the bucket on the stage the entire night. And then when they made the announcement, people could just walk up and throw money in. And then on top of that, they passed it because they're just awesome.
I think it was 150 that show. And that place was not nearly packed. Like it was nowhere near packed.
No.
It was a very light crowd, which is fine, but they put up a decent number.
Bands are going to love when you say that.
What?
And you know what the cool thing about the crowd was? There was no one there.
Yeah.
No.
There's a good amount of people.
I'm just playing. I just think it's funny that you twice have now called out bands that have not had full crowds.
I'm okay with a small crowd.
They might not be,
Okay.
you know?
That's their problem.
Yeah. Which becomes our problem.
Not if they're throwing up numbers like that.
That was a good number. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. Yeah. It's just like when you're in a band and like people are like, how'd the show go? You want to hear like, oh, it was great. They played awesome, which they did. They made a lot of money, which they did. And the first thing I wouldn't be like, oh, that crowd was a little,
Small crowd, big hearts.
small crowds, big hearts. But yeah, no, I think Giant Panda is actually pushing Pittsburgh as a market now. So it's cool that we get to partner with them and hopefully get more people out there because they're amazing live. Pete, tell me I'm wrong.
You are not wrong.
There
Have
you go.
you even seen them live?
We've seen them together
Oh.
at Club Cafe, which is ridiculous. That
Yeah.
band.
We have a weird history with like that band and the movement.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't forgot about this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really strange because was it the movement?
Oh yeah,
Or was it
the movement? They're also
the movement. Like their manager reached out to us because we were like when we were starting all this.
he doesn't know this, by the way.
So
Reed doesn't know this.
We used to like hashtag like the movement and Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad because we were trying to get into this like crowd and like get those followers because huge fans of reggae, like dub reggae stuff. And they like reached out and was like, "Would you please stop using this hashtag?"
Yeah, so I would hashtag. Well, it's Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. So I would hashtag GPGDS, and we got an email from. I assume it's Reed. Now I know their manager,
Oh, yeah.
so I assume it was
So
Reed.
it was Giant Panda, not the movement.
It was
Okay.
well, it was both.
He's the same
but
for both.
so the one was Giant Panda. I would just hashtag. I was thinking. So we weren't. Spare Change wasn't a thing back then. We were just trying to play music in this band. So we were trying to get fans of that band who hopefully check out our stuff and see if they liked our stuff. This is before Spare Change was a thing.
That's right.
However, I started hashtagging GPGDS, which is their hashtag. And they called me on it. They emailed me and was like, "Can you please stop using that?" And I was like, first of all, I was like caught red-handed. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know that meant that. This is the Greater Pittsburgh Department of Good Samaritans."
Oh my gosh.
Or whatever the thing was. And they were like, "Oh, that's okay. We didn't know there was a separate thing because they're so nice." And I was just being silly. But
I didn't know that you could dictate who uses a hashtag or
that's
not.
the thing is you can't.
Yeah.
You
but
can't.
It's super funny.
But it's
now you guys have like such a great relationship
that we could just throw gasoline on it.
What's their drummer's name?
Chris.
Yeah. So I posted that little clip of me doing the
drum cover.
The drum cover, and he was like, well, like tell your drummer like this is how like that hi-hat rhythm goes. And he sent a video
of
to
him
like show me like that
drumming on an
like,
oven.
sticking. Yeah.
Remember? So Pete was doing a drum cover of a Giant Panda song, and then he hit us up. Was like, actually, it's a different rhythm. It's not this. It's like whatever. And he demonstrated by drumming on an oven. But that was the first time we ever were in touch with that band. I was like, oh my gosh, they're cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were super stoked to have like people like posting covers and stuff.
And
like,
they
absolutely do it.
They don't hate the fact that I use their hashtag for the greater Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I used to listen to Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad in college. A friend recommended their music, and I was like, that name is crazy. I wouldn't even know like where to start. But then I got into it, and now here we are. So it's been pretty cool to work with them because like I'm first and foremost a fan, and now we are helping them fundraise for an awesome charity called RAICES, RAICES, which helps support immigrants that are trying to come to the United States.
Legal help for them, yeah.
Which is cool.
But what do you think is the future of the podcast?
You know, I'm not really sure because you're traveling soon, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be away for 4 months.
Yeah, so here's what I would like to have happen would be we continue this thing, number one, first and foremost. I know that, I think from my friend Aaron Watson, most podcasts don't get to this point of making one episode. Fewer get to like 7, and half of them get to like 25. So a lot of people fail. We're not going to fail. I'm not even worried about that part because we don't do that here. But I think it's a matter of like where we want to take it. And that comes from like people that eventually will show up and be a part of it, sit in, be a co-host when you're out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have musicians perform.
When you're out.
We'll see. I think we have to build up to you having a show by yourself.
Oh, you got 4 months.
Yeah, that's the goal. In 4 months, you can host it.
When I'm home.
You're going to have to set the stage more.
Yeah.
But we also have a full studio here, thanks to Pete and Sarah. So we're going to have bands perform with us too. And I'd like to see that happen more often. So like hopefully at the end of every show, we could have a band play like one song. Would be cool.
Yeah.
I like that
or
vibe.
At least let us use your music if you want us to use your music.
Yeah, we're going to ask people
up.
questions online too, and like have people ask us things and we'll respond here. So we're going to try to like build it. This is square one. So if you're digging it so far, you're going to love where it goes next. If you don't like it, hey, that's all right. There's lots of stuff online you can check out. We're not worried about that.
Yeah, this episode's more of just a general broad overview to like let you know what we're about, who we are, and where we're hoping to take this. And from here on out, we'll be a little bit more focused each episode. And
so what right now, it's like the last week of October.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now, Spare Change wise?
What am I working on Spare Change wise? I had a little list of upcoming events for people, which I already mentioned Brett Trottier tomorrow night, which you guys cannot capitalize on. But November 5th, Zach Kime, the Knox Boys, not just Zach Kime. The entire band, the Knox Boys, will be at PACA in Erie, PA.
And November 9th, Common Heart's back in town at Stage AE, so you got to be there. They're doing a coat drive, so bring coats, winter jackets, and they're also supporting the Michael J. Fox Foundation with the Spare Change buckets. So we'll be there filming as well. Well, I'll be there.
I'll be there as well.
Okay,
I leave
cool.
the next day.
And Pete and Sarah will be there. We should have done like a live podcast there.
Oh yeah. I would have with everything else that we're doing there.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a packed
doesn't mean
night.
we can't. We could do maybe a live or remote session. That'd be cool.
On the
maybe
Zoom.
On the Zoom, why not? Maybe that's the thing we do. We could get 4 mics and do it.
Yeah, the Zoom acts as a audio interface, or I can take mine. So
I mean, you'll have your computer there for the multi-track, right?
Yeah.
This is true.
So
Okay, we have options. Maybe we'll be back live.
Yeah, bonus
from Stage
episode.
AE. That'd be pretty cool.
it would be.
Yeah, so this is the start, like we said. And Spare Change, as it has been from February 2017 to now, has always been about being a work in progress. And it's not about being perfect. That's not what this is about. If a couple people throw some change into a bucket and we can help make a difference into the lives of people that work at nonprofits and the people they support, then we're doing something great. Everything else is just icing on the cake. So, Alan, give us some words of wisdom as people head into their work week. What should they be thinking about What would you recommend?
What should you be thinking about?
Not me.
What should you, the listener, be thinking about?
There you go.
How to best optimize your day.
Okay. And do you have any recommendations on how to do that?
Yeah, make sure you only work an 8-hour day because your personal time is important. If you can get everything you need done in an 8-hour day, that's all they're paying you for. Go home and enjoy yourself.
I disagree. I think that...
Josh, what are your words of wisdom for people going into their work week?
Well, first of all, you work for yourself. So it's easy for you to be like, hey, stick it to the man, because you are the man.
Yeah, but if I work longer, I also get paid more.
So I can only imagine the internal dialogue in your mind. Like, I've done enough today. No, you haven't. Yes, I have.
Usually it's a no, you haven't. You're like, yeah, that's right. You can go and work a few more hours and make a few $100s more.
I just picture some little old lady looking out at her landscaper in the backyard, and he's just talking to himself.
Yeah, with my headphones, when you call me, people walk up to me all the time and like, who are you talking to? I'm like, oh, just myself.
Okay, so you're saying put in a good 8-hour day and get out of there.
Yeah, and take time for yourself because you need it.
I'm going to say this, counterpoint. Do what needs to be done. Get it done. Just do it. You're going to have to do it either way. Might as well do it now. Get it over with.
Fair.
Listen, one thing we should say is we have no way to end the show because we've never done it before. So we need to have an ending. We need to end strong.
As always, crossing that finish line.
Well, I guess as always in life, because we've never done it before. We need to end strong
As
this time.
always from now on.
That's what I was looking for. Okay, do we want to, Pete, want to ask another question?
I think I have a very good idea for how this could incorporate the audience and you guys. So next time on this podcast, you guys will have to answer this question, and anybody listening, they can answer as well.
All right. Is there a question for us?
Not necessarily a question.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Statements. 2 truths and a lie.
Oof.
Oh. We have to say them.
Yeah.
All right.
2 truths and a lie for you, 2 truths and a lie for you. And then
they have to guess my lie.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, so we'll pick it up afterwards.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I will start.
Okay.
I have been to 21 countries. I'm dating an 18-year-old. And I know how to fly as a pilot.
Okay. I'll just start off with saying that I was on the show Guts on Nickelodeon, and I got second place. I did not win the aggro crag. I was the red team. I'm a minister. I've officiated 3 weddings. And the last thing I want to just say is that I was born on Christmas Day.
Very easily verifiable for me. All right, well, I will see you next time, Josh.
In the meantime, you can guess in the comments below, if you made it this far through the podcast, go on our YouTube page, put a comment in. What's the truth? What's the lie? If you get it right, we'll send you a Spare Change sticker. And next time, we'll pick up where we left off and see where we're at.
And this is that sticker offer is only valid between this and the next episode.
YouTube, yeah. Between now and next time. We only have so many stickers.
Yeah.
Again, this is a 2-person operation. So I'm Josh. This is Alan. That's Pete and Sarah. Welcome to Spare Change Radio. We'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your week, and see you soon.
Make sure you wash behind your ears.
What?
Cut.